Ready? This is the Personnel and Finance Committee meeting called to order. First thing on the agenda is the minutes of November 15th. And sound good. 15th, and we have no one here, so I think we just can move that forward. No, anybody out there have anything they want to talk about the minutes? Thank you. Next, we have, okay. Yes, we have personnel update. They got some. We have Ms. Administrator.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The changes from last month to this month, only in the Public Safety Department, we had 3 promotions. 2 people graduated from the Fire Academy and 1 person from the Police Academy this month. Well, this month and last month, which is a good thing.
Yes.
For the open positions, we still have an open position for the grant manager, the program coordinator position, as well as the waterfront restoration and revitalization project manager in the community development department. We still have a opening for a deputy city clerk. And we still have a position open for a part-time general labor position in public works.
Okay. So we got some applicants for any of these?
Yeah, we do. We're still looking through them.
Okay. And Director Little, how you doing on your search?
We're moving along pretty well. We've conducted a number of interviews, got a couple more covered positions to do, but I think we're getting there.
All right.
Getting much better quality applicants than we were several months ago.
Sounds good. Thank you. Is it flowering your way here?
No, it's really pretty.
Okay.
I just was touching it.
Oh, okay.
That was the only changes
Mhm.
from November to current
Mhm.
in the personnel
So
department.
on the safety side, how many we short down? What's that?
Well, since we have public safety here, public safety is here. But
I'm sorry, what? So how's the,
how many people are we down in public safety?
I know we just checked, you still down 8? How many do we have done?
I have 7.
I don't remember off the top of my head how many we actually have.
It's 19 full-time, 15
So-
on call.
To put it into perspective, we should have 4 officers on each shift, plus the swing shift person and the person in the firehouse. Is it 1 or 2 in the firehouse? 2. So right now we have 2 on days, 2 on nights, 1 person on swings and 2 in the firehouse. So we're still down 2 people for each one of the road shifts.
Okay.
We have 2 that are going to the police academy in January. So we have 1 in FTO. It's going to be in FTO right now.
Mm-hmm.
So when those 2 or those 3 people complete the academy and complete their field training, we'll count them as officers. Then we'd only be down to 5. But they still have to complete, Cameron still has to complete field training. So that's going to be the next 3 months for him.
Uh-huh.
And then Dalton and Caden have the police academy, then field training. And then we've got 1 person already lined up that we're gonna start the process on for the May Academy, and we're still looking for another.
Mhm.
The thing for us is it's about a year from start to finish to hire somebody.
Okay.
So the people that we're looking at right now, we know conceivably won't start working the streets until this time next year.
Okay. Thank you. Carry on.
That was it for personnel. That concludes the personnel.
Just finish the personnel updates. Okay.
I also sent an email,
All right, point of order.
sent the email to the commissioners with the update for the finance director
Thank you so much.
resumes.
Thank you so much. We do have some new ones too, right? that-
Yes.
and-
We have 7 new ones that came in.
Thank you. I mean, so all the commissioners got it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. So we'll be taking a look at that and see can we break it down some. Find some good applicants. Personnel finance, finance director. She sent out the resumes. What was the total of that again?
Total of how many new
All together.
altogether?
I didn't count,
No,
but-
just a new one.
Okay, just 7 new ones.
It was 7 new, so I think it's like 35 altogether, but that's starting from last
Way back.
March, correct? Yeah, when we first put it up.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Ready for the income tax update?
To the income tax updates.
For the month of November, individual tax returns, $5,107.77. For withholdings, $146,024.89. Total deposits, $153,422.66. Refunds, $7,424. Revenue for the month of November, $2,290. For December to date, individual returns,
It's Christmas, don't worry about that.
Every year.
Yeah.
individual returns, $446. That's outside. I thought that
That's
was.
outside.
Yeah, Christmas is here.
You thought it was right in here with us.
I did. I thought it was a ringtone or something. Sorry. Withholdings, $81,673.82. Total deposits, $81,229.82. Refunds, $380 with revenue, $890 for the month of December thus far.
You still getting returns coming in, or it should be about the
Not
end?
returns. Now what we're getting in mostly is reconciliations.
Okay.
It's coming in from businesses for 2023.
Mhm.
And we also have some business returns, but not a lot. We're just kind of gearing down to start back up again in
Yeah.
January.
Got to ask too, always doing the update on I know we was talking about the compliance part of the city income tax. How's that?
Still trying to figure it out with the public safety department, how that's going to work. It's not a simple process, just kind of put in place. So we're trying to figure everything out and how that will work.
Thank you. Any question on city income tax? Mr. Dunn?
I got a little distracted and I didn't hear the total amount that we for,
City income tax total?
the total of our income tax.
To date or for the month of November?
No, just period, all of
That's in the finance director.
it.
Yeah, but what's in the bank actually is in the finance
We'll get that when we get the finance.
report.
Okay,
Should be up.
thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
We have finance report and budget updates. Rhonda, how you doing?
Good. How are you? We will. Can I move it? It's a little hard to talk without eye contact, right? Okay. Financials for November. Couple key things. Cash is still short some. It's getting some better. The accounts receivable balance that was a credit for issuing the credit to the citizens is almost gone. So we're now starting to get a flow back in from that. So that's picking up. And then also December 1st, the second half of the city property taxes for the year are starting to roll in. So there'll be about 700,000 coming in between now and it'll big part of it'll come in like in February when it's close to the due date. So there's some cash coming into the city. There's been $1 million spent to date in income tax for the local road and alley project this year. Also have Pawpaw Avenue expenditures of $445,000. About $1 million has been spent this last month. The infrastructure, the system, water system distribution, about $1 million's been spent. So there's a lot of capital projects going on right now, and especially since the weather has cooperated, we didn't have to stop. The ARPA funds that were approved of $1.8 million to transfer to the utility fund, that was done in the month of November. So you'll see the cash for the ARPA fund has gone down. Actually, it's on page 4. The ARPA fund cash balance remaining is now just under $1 million. Yeah. What else is going on in the financial world? Asked about the income tax. This year so far, we've collected about 500. We've collected more than that. We've collected about 700,000, but 500,000 gets counted as revenue. The other goes into a reserve to cover any returns that come in. You may pay, but we may owe you the money back, or at the end of the year. So it's money that we're putting aside. So when in February, March, people apply for a refund, we've got the money sitting off. We haven't spent it or used it for anything. So it sits off to the side, but we've collected.
How much do you put to the side?
Actually, it's 15%.
Oh, okay.
Is what we're putting aside. So if we get $100,000 in, 85 we count as revenue, and then 15 we put like as a reserve. So when income tax returns come in, we have the money set aside to pay you back your return if you've overpaid.
Right, thank you.
Yep. The audit is still in process. We've got drafts we're reviewing now, and it should be final, or it will be final next week. The partner that we worked with was on vacation this week, but it's given us time to go through and review the numbers and things. So the end of the year, the reports will be finalized, and then I have several reports that go to the state of Michigan. One, I send a report in for all the money spent on your major and local streets. It's called Act 51. I have to submit another report that really summarizes your audit, and that's called the F-65. Then I have a qualifying statement and a pension statement that has to be in by the end of next week.
Yeah,
So,
next week.
or probably, it's probably due like January 2nd
Oh, okay.
because of the way the year end falls, but they'll all be submitted by next week. So have a lot going on for your year end. So,
I just have a question about water payments.
Mhm.
Have you seen a
a little bit.
It's starting
A
to,
little bit, yeah. It was, it's still, we've got about 600,000 sitting in the delinquent that's over 60 days that haven't had a lot of activity. But it's picking up a little bit.
it's good. So utility fund is still absolutely low.
The $1.8 million helped,
Yeah, hell.
and it got everything almost current and, you know, will help a little. We had a little bit left over after we paid all the bills. There's about 300 that'll be used for the bills that got approved last week or the beginning of this week. So, but yeah, it's still slow.
That Pawpaw Road project, did we have to put up so much, the city?
We had to put up some, but there was almost 400,000 that came from, I think it was high 300s that came in. It was advanced from the state of Michigan. So it wasn't 100% paid for by the city. It was federally funded through the state of Michigan. And they've already given us, they sent the money prior to the project starting.
Any questions for Finance Director Robbie? Any questions? Mr. Henry?
Thank you, sir. I'm wondering if you have been in discussion with anyone about how the payment plan for residents will be set up. If you can share that with us, and so people will know exactly.
What we're trying to do. Yeah, we had discussions with an agency that the mayor had met up with at a conference. They were called Promise Pay. And what they are is a bridge. They're not a collection agency. They're an agency that would handle setting up payment plans with an individual, and would also make sure they make a payment, keep up current, but then they get a payment plan. Well, we had a conversation, it looked great. God, this is perfect. This is what we need before, you know, so many people have high balances. It's tough that we can't shut them off. So this looked like the bridge that we needed. And we saw a demo on it. And it was going to cost $35,000 to set it up, but no, well, here's the rest of the story. The $35,000 I had figured, you know, that would be a good investment of your ARPA money, because you do have money left to use that to get it set up. Well, then the lady who had given us the information and the presentation, she knew from the first conversation we were about 3,000 customers, about 1,000 delinquent, and she had to go back and figure where we needed to be able to get on their plan. 37,000 accounts. We're a little short. We were so disappointed because this looked to be the solution for getting things rolling and giving people assistance. So I talked to Commissioner Isom, and I'm going to reach out to some of my coworkers on the east side that deal with some of the other municipalities and see if there is an agency in the Michigan area or vicinity that can offer that kind of solution too, because we're just not staffed here to really handle, and we don't have the systems to keep up with a payment plan. This sounded like it was going to be the answer to helping everybody, get things rolling. And it's what we need. So,
Well, that sounds good. Can we replicate, and you're telling me that our staff can't do it?
not as effectively, because what they had to offer, they could they could set you up like AEP does and text you. You set up with them how you want it taken out of your account. They had the tools
Yeah,
to do things that we don't have. And not only the tools to take your money, but to monitor and make sure everything.
everything's going well.
Right, and that you're also, because they were gonna take our data and their data would come to us and they would go, oh, okay, she's made her regular monthly payment and she's making her $50 payments a month, so good to go. And then you get a text message, this is getting, and then they even said, you could get with them if the payment plan didn't work, reset it up, if you need to slow it down. I mean, it really was what we need. And that's the part that, we can set up payment plans here with people, but the system is limited on the information. And it would take a person, at least one person to monitor, and because you have to pay. And if you don't, then you do get shut off to keep up with your payments.
Right.
So you need to be very proactive with that and have some systems outside of the systems we have to keep track of this. And I'm hoping there's somebody out there that's not a collection agency, but more a facilitator to get people on a payment plan. I mean, you hear and I don't know what these places are, if they're legit or not, but you hear it all the time on TV, the people that will help with debt consolidation and making payment plans. So to find somebody like that to help would really help. But it was kind of depressed when I got the 37,000.
Yeah, I know that's really screeching halt.
Yeah.
Well, little history lesson. We had a plan, and we actually went on the honor. And believe me, people honored the agreement. Our citizens stood up to and honored the agreement. And if you go down, well, you probably had to see it because you've been here a little while now. Before this came up, people were actually paying their bills and honoring their agreements. And I think the honor roll system will work again, so we don't have to outsource something like that. If there was some internal process at that time, maybe it could be tweaked or whatever and brought back to the people. We need to let the people know, and they are accountable.
Mhm.
Ben Harbor takes care of their own. The Dollar Ride, the library, they don't think twice because this is what they want and they pay for it. So we gotta give our people a chance to do the right thing. And I can guarantee you the people want to support Benton Harbor. They don't want Benton Harbor to go under. They want to support Benton Harbor. But they want to do it right. They want to make sure the water is right. So once we get that message across, we let them know that we need you to step back up.
You need to get that message out there that the water is safe.
Yeah. So I'm kind of glad they jacked the price up. Because I just think that we could do it internal and really internal by allowing the citizens to stand up and be a resident. And citizens, good citizens, because we have good citizens here. But we have to do the right thing by getting the message to them that how safe the water is and what we need to do to get back on track with the water distributed. So, yeah, you think of a human way of doing it, but resourcing it out automatically makes my head hurt.
City manager, have you communicated with the Marion County Health Department about, I know the water distribution stopped next week.
This is not Bergen County, this is the state.
The state, Ingham, have to come in and say that, did the EPA say that the water was good? Was the EPA or?
It's the health department.
Okay, they need to come and say,
The health department has said it was in the mail, was in the package last maybe, wasn't
Yeah, I read something that they, but the people
What?
need to hear it. The people need to hear it.
And they are working on messages.
message, get it out to, since I know the bottled water stopped next week.
That's what,
Next week.
So how long have you guys known that, or that what city manager was talking about? Is that a recent discovery or something?
just happened last week.
Okay. Good job.
Yeah, but just about the water, though, we just want to urge people, to residents, just to pay, start, just every little bit helps.
Mhm.
Any more, Ron? Anybody? You got something? Got anything? Merry Christmas. Ron.
Merry Christmas to
Enjoy the
you
holidays.
Oh,
We're singing together.
do we get to the part, I know we passed on from that's next. Oh, okay.
The budget update, huh?
I'm gonna let you go in about 3 more
Oh,
questions.
that's okay.
Go ahead.
Because we canceled, October, a lot of questions came back that I didn't get answered.
Okay.
And I'll bring it up. It's the end of the year. This is what I love to do. And so we can hold some people accountable for sharing or not sharing. I'd like to ask Ms. About did you get any more comments about the separation of the water and the rubbish?
No, I didn't. And it's kind of been on hold since I've been working on
On the audit?
Yeah, so, I mean, we can do it. It can be done. We can run 2 bills. It's if you want to do 2 mailings.
Right.
It can be.
We understand that. We understand that. So, do you think that after the holidays, everything will open back up? And then the audit will be over with,
Mhm.
okay?
Yeah.
I guess that's it, separation of the bills. Thank you.
And to be clear, that's the utility bills.
I'm sorry?
To be clear, that's the utility bills we're talking about.
Yes, you did.
I got a question. Did you get a chance to check out how East Lansing do their bill cycle for the water?
No.
I believe it's
East
like,
Lansing?
yeah, I had missing it. And so Dr. Todd had mentioned something about Detroit. And what East Lansing do, I think every 3 months, they, trust in their pay. They did a bill every 3 months.
Yeah, there are several municipalities that run quarterly billing. It just hasn't been done that way here since I've been here. But yeah, there are several.
Sounds good to me.
And then I think the late fee is like $20.
Yeah, I don't. But
I can't hear you guys.
Well, y'all talking more, there's something wrong with my hearing or just y'all mumbling? You can't do that. You gotta talk out loud for everybody to hear what you're saying.
Can you look into that for me?
what specifically?
The quartering cycle.
Well, I think that would have to be a decision by
City
the
Commissioners.
city or management to bring to the city commission to do quarterly billing. It wouldn't, yeah, I mean, like I said, a lot of,
Something we have to investigate. You're talking about a larger community. We don't know what the effects will be financially until we look at it. But we will look at it.
Thank you. No questions. Thank you. Happy holidays.
and happy holidays to all of you.
Next, number 5, we have resolution for the use of opera funds for the renewal of body worn camera system and data storage. Deputy Clark, I know we've talked about this at public safety. Ms. Hildebrand, did you discuss this with public safety about the opera? So was it a revenue loss or what was it?
Yeah,
Defined as?
it's included in the revenue loss category because you can use the revenue loss for governmental activities, which this is clearly a governmental activity.
We already have the cameras in use now, right?
Yes.
How many was it?
So, I'll just start from the beginning.
Okay.
So that way, I know the director kind of stumbled through this last week and I'll just kind of get it right from the get. So we started our body worn camera system in 20. We were the first agency in the county to get it. In 2017, we upgraded to the newer generation and we did a 5-year deal on those. And in the middle of COVID 2022, with supply chain and other issues, we got pushed back a year. The cameras we had were able to survive that year, but they ended up, the cameras are just like cell phones. You know, they only have about a 5-year lifespan before things start to, buttons start to break and they wear out. The battery issue is the biggest issue with the camera. Thank you. So we needed to redo this, and traditionally we've used grant funding to pay for this program. It has a little bit of a cost to it because of the data storage, and I'll talk about that in just a second. Earlier this year, the federal government changed some rules in the SAM system. The SAM system is how grants are awarded. And so up until that point, we had used the name of City of Benton Harbor, and the Housing Commission was also using it, City of Benton Harbor Housing Commission. Okay, and in SAM, they said only one entity can be City of Benton Harbor. And so the federal government automatically gave that name to the Housing Commission and then made our SAM name the Police Department. The Housing Commission and we got together, we worked out exactly what the federal government said we needed to do. They did their part, we did ours, and we got it fixed. The problem was this grant went through during that time, and so we did not get the first year of this grant awarded because of that issue. So as it sits now, our SAM is correct. We're the City of Benton Harbor. The Housing Commission has their name proper, and everything is rolling right on grants. I'm working on years 2, 3, 4, and 5 under this year's body cam grant, so we shouldn't have any issues with that. It was just this 1 year. Now, What this amount was paying for was the body cams for each officer. So every one of our staff members has a body cam, to include the director and myself. It also pays for the docs that we put them in at the end of the shift that upload the video. And then it also pays for the data storage. The data storage is the largest cost of this. That data is, the cost is tremendous. That's the biggest cost of this system. The two reasons we have such a large data storage, number one, in 2018, the state changed their body cam law. And it's the state body, the Body Cam Act of 2018 stated that any type of body cam footage you record has to be maintained for the length of the case. So we had to change our retention periods. Now I have our retention periods, and if anybody's interested in seeing how that works, we can go over that. But we keep a lot of data. Our in-car cameras, our body-worn cameras, all dump to the same database, and that's why it's so tremendous. So every minute our officers are out there working, if they're interacting with somebody, they're recording it. And then it gets categorized, and based on the categories, how long it stays in the system. If there is a citizen complaint that's made, that video gets recategorized and it's held in perpetuity until the complaint is resolved. If it's a major case, it's basically held until that case is done. There's, I think we have 20, it's either 20 or 22 different categories for how we maintain data. And again, that's why the cost is what it is.
Do it automatically erase or what? So,
Yes. So for instance, just looking at this, if we had an alarm at a residence, the officers would go, they check the residence, that video is kept for 2 weeks. If it's a false alarm, nothing happens, we keep it for 2 weeks, and then it deletes, just in case, you know, maybe somebody wants to see what the false alarm was at their house, they can come in and see it. We maintain a pretty easygoing policy on this video. If something happens and you want to watch it with the director you just call us, we'll set it up. We record so much video, sometimes this may be the first time we all watch it together. So we have a lot of video that's recorded from various things.
So how many cameras do you need?
27 total.
27.
What was the cost again? I think it's expensive last week.
$36,837.15, I believe.
$36,815.87.
I was close.
Wow.
We said, again, that's a one-time deal because the grant should be covered at,
Yes.
the next time. So my question was to the, since, finance wasn't here last week, it was talked over that it can be, ARPA funds can be used. And the balance of the ARPA fund, it wouldn't significantly impact it.
It's about $1 million, close to $1 million now. It's 950,000 left. So this would be 36,000 of it. And it's similar to computers. I mean, computer systems were bought for the police cars.
Okay.
What you did in here with the audio, video, those are expenses that are part of governmental services and they qualify. So, and this is the same type of thing.
Any questions about body cameras for public safety to help the residents feel safe, capture anything going on in the city? Safety, anybody? this forward. Well, thank you, Deputy Clerk, for the, putting it out there and explaining it to us, so. And so your grant writing will go on the rest of the,
Yes.
yes. Thank you. All right. Next, we have resolution to provide for the setting of alternate March 2024 Board of Review dates. I think all these are combined, 6, 7, and 8. Assessor Story.
Yes.
Oh, you have the floor.
Sure, okay. The first resolution is just to set alternate start dates for March Board of Review. We do the same resolution every year. The law states that the Board of Review shall start, on, Monday following the first Tuesday in March. However, our charter says it will be in May, which is way too late for the process. So we passed this resolution just to cover us for when we do hold the March Board of Review, which is generally the following week.
Move that forward.
The second resolution is to accept letters of protest for the March Board of Review. So by law, non-residents are already allowed to protest by letter. They don't have to appear in person. By passing this resolution, it just allows residents to also appeal by letter and not require them to appear in person. That's very helpful for snowbirds. Sometimes they're out of town in March, or if they're sick, or just unable to make it up here for whatever reason, you know, they're allowed to send in a letter instead so that the Board of Review can still consider their appeal.
Okay.
And the third one, again, this is another one that we do every year. This is setting our thresholds for the poverty exemptions that the Board of Review can grant in 2024. So the income limits are based on the size of the family unit. What's written on the resolution for you guys is actually 3% higher than the federal poverty guidelines. That's what was decided to go with for 2023. So I went ahead and added the 3% for 2024 for you. Of course, you can change that. However, you cannot lower these dollar amounts below the federal poverty, making it harder to qualify, but you are allowed to make it easier to qualify. We do not have a tremendous amount of people applying for this exemption. I can think of one off the top of my head this year, so maybe there was two, maybe even 3, but there's not a huge volume of it. However, the commission can decide what to set those. And then also, you know, we're required to set an asset level test that is below the incomes. We always go with that the person that is applying for the exemption, that they only have one vehicle per licensed driver in their household. So, and the point of that is we want them to still be able to get to work, you know? So if they have 2 licensed drivers in their household, then we're not gonna count 2 vehicles against them and their assets, okay? And then we also have a valuation of assets that doesn't include their house or those vehicles that they're allowed, but anything other than that. Again, last year we had $7,500. So this would be things like boats, snowmobiles, stamp collections, bank accounts, anything that's an asset to them that's not their home and not the vehicle that they need to get to work.
Do you go check all that or something?
So the application asks all these questions, and then, you know, we do require supporting documentation of like the bank accounts and their income tax filings, but, you know, if they have $1 million stamp collection under their bed and they're not honest about it, there's really no way I can find that out.
Okay.
They sign the form and they're attesting that they're being honest and forthcoming.
Under the pain and penalties of perjury.
What's that?
Under the pain and penalties of perjury.
I don't know that it necessarily says that, but, you know, it's a small enough town that if somebody does have $1 million collection under their bed, so one of us is gonna hear about it.
What's the deadline on this?
So this is setting the thresholds for 2024, and so, residents can apply to the March board review, the July board review, or the December board review. So they have 3 times a year in which to apply for that year.
And when are we advertising this for the residents?
We don't like advertise it, but if somebody calls or stops in to see and they mention that they're having a hard time, we will offer it up.
Is it on the website?
The application is,
The explanation?
the application is on the website. They would need to reach out to get the limits and such. I wouldn't go so far as to necessarily hugely advertise it, because you have to keep in mind that this is exempting them from property taxes. It's there to help. So if we know they're struggling, we will offer it up. But it's not something we want hundreds of people flooding in to apply for either.
I understand.
Like they need.
People that need it though, it might be good for them to
Absolutely.
know about it.
Absolutely. And if they, you know, the city staff as well, you know, if they're talking with somebody and they're coming to the understanding that that person needs help, absolutely, we should offer it up.
More questions? Got question, right? Virginia, you got something? Well, thank you. We'll move all that forward. Thank you, Sister Stewart. That's it, right?
Yes, that's it.
Thank you. Happy holidays to you.
You too. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Good to see you all. I will see you in January when this comes before the commission too, just in case there's any questions.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you. Next, we have an agenda discussion, the CHIPS and Science Act. I added that to the agenda. And that's a Biden administration, it's out here, it's the CHIPS and Science Act to, it was a bipartisan CHIPS and Science Act that was signed to make smart investments so that Americans can compete and win in the future. What it would do, it would bolster U.S. leadership in semiconductors. CHIPS and Science Act provide $52.7 billion for American semiconductors research, development, manufacturing, workforce development. This includes $39 billion in manufacturing incentives, including $2 billion for the legacy chips used in automobiles, defense systems, $13.2 billion in R&D and workforce development, $500 million to provide for international information, communication, technology, security, and semiconductor supply chain activity. It also provides 25% in investment tax credit for capital expenses for manufacturing of semiconductors and related equipment. These incentives will secure domestic supply and create tens of thousands of good-paying jobs. Union construction jobs, 1,000 more high-scale manufacturing jobs, and capitalize on hundreds of billions more in private investments. Director Little, have you heard about this, the CHIPS?
Yes, I have. As a matter of fact, I wrote several letters to some of the chip manufacturers back when this first came out because we were looking to see if we could interest somebody. They're big users of water.
Uh-huh.
And we thought that we could get one in the area, even if we had to work an arrangement with the township like we tried to do for the Italian car manufacturer years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But if we could supply the water to do it, it would help solve our water problem.
Have you heard anything back?
They've gone in several places in Michigan, but nothing our way.
Be strong if we can get a manufacturer here to come. So it's a clean type factory and
Just so we're clear, when he says solve our water problems, he means getting more customers.
That they use a tremendous amount of water when they're doing those chips.
So this is a lot. Go ahead.
You got plenty extra water to, like what, 10 million gallons or so per day.
So this will be, I'm gonna keep this on the agenda every month if I'm still on Personnel Finance Committee. But I would like to just keep this ongoing. Director Little, City Manager, or that we can work upon something, you know. We can get lead lines replaced in 18 months. We can, I'm sure somebody wanna come here and get the workforce trained.
We've talked to MEDC too about helping us with trying to attract somebody to this area.
What type of footprint land-wise that they would need?
They would need probably in the neighborhood of minimally 20 acres up, more than what we would have here in the city. But we dealt with that before. As a matter of fact, the property that that housing development is on across from the airport. That was a contract annexation that we started back in 87, I believe, when we were about to get an Italian car manufacturer that was gonna manufacture cars for handicapped people. And we worked out an arrangement using a law that was done for Hamtramck, I believe, for automobile industry. Nobody had ever used it. And we made use of it and got the acreage we need. We made an agreement that certain services the township would provide, certain services we would provide, and it'd be a shared thing. And then later, after that didn't come, they did an arrangement similar but different to accommodate the housing developments out there.
Was it?
So we could do that again if need be. If we had a big enough facility, it would be advantageous to both township and the city to work out an agreement to do something like that.
Wasn't that property supposed to revert back to township?
Yes. It was a 50-year deal at that time.
So, 87, still got a ways to go.
Yeah, but see, they redid something on that. I think Jeff Nolan and them were involved in it after the plant didn't come to allow the housing. And I'm not sure they kept the same time.
Any questions on CHIP? And do more research on it.
Chair, Chair, would you read that last 2 or 3 sentences that you read?
These incentives will secure the domestic supply
Oh,
rate.
can you speak into the mic, please, sir?
These incentives will secure domestic supply, create tens of thousands of jobs, tens of thousands of good paying jobs, union, I know that's what you want to hear, union construction jobs, and thousands more high skilled manufacturing jobs.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. So let's keep this on the forefront and everybody do some research too, that we can get some of this money. I know Governor Whitmer is really pushing for Michigan, so if we can get some of that here and some high paying jobs and build homes and
The school system is looking into the STEM research, so you might wanna talk with them as well about this, act.
mhm.
It's an old act.
There have been about 4 or 5 plants that have come into Michigan since that was
Yeah,
done.
it's just-
Yeah, they're just not in our area.
want to keep it here instead of being in, taking it over to China. So they're giving out incentives for companies. If you want to invest, you can invest your money in some of these tech companies that make micro Intel, and I'm sure there's several up there that you can, if you're an investor. Mr. Duncan.
Yeah, I'm not an investor, but I do have first.
There you go.
I asked you guys to help me get that drain taken care of in front of my house.
That someone has already done.
Excuse me?
It just came out, I think it was yesterday, I was
They came
told.
and fixed it?
That's what they saying.
No. Next year's another year, brother. So I just wait, since I have to.
Let's see.
Yeah, since we're discussing that,
Okay.
say if it was, I guess, competition between the township and the city for, something like that, facility like that, I know township's water plant is, small. And so that would be a probably a real drain on their water system if, and so that probably would give us an advantage.
Yes.
But our biggest problem is the 20 acres. So we would probably have to do something, some type of annexation or something. So getting the water, said that we found, made some deal for the 20 acres and it's out in the township somewhere. How will we get the water to?
Basically put in a line to get there or connect some existing line they have that would go there, but, we would basically, sell the water to them. It's a situation, has been for many years, where it's to both communities' advantage to work together when it comes to something like that. We're basically landlocked, 4.3 acres. And if we need a substantial size area, we have almost no choice but to look outside to try to find it. And as you said, their water capacity is not large enough to handle something like that. It would be a perfect opportunity for us to work together. The reason the annexation was involved, though, is there was a lot of other tax advantages that were available that the city had that they did not have. So in order to make that thing work, and something similar was done down here with Harbor Shores with those houses, where part of St. Joe was pulled into Benton Harbor for a period of time in order to get the tax benefits and so forth. So it's not an abnormal thing. I suspect there's gonna be time when some of their own projects may come in, they may get something large enough that they'll work with us for supplying the water. Maybe much more practical than trying to build an additional capacity.
I guess that was definitely,
Mhm.
important for us to keep our water.
Yeah. Oh, Commissioner Henry.
Definitely.
Madam Chair, I would like for, personnel and finance to, look into the fact that we are drug testing for marijuana and, the state of Michigan as well as is not. And it's setting up a lot of barriers for our residents to get jobs. So I'd like for you to put it on the agenda and let staff explain to us what's going on. The other is I would like for us to look into changing the charter that allows special assessments to go to the property tax. I think we need to discuss it because it's a charter and it will be decided by the people who will get the best benefit out of it if it's not a special assessment. Right now, the special assessment is definitely a barrier for a lot of people on fixed income, and that's our seniors and working mothers, single mothers. So somehow we gotta have some kind of conversation about it, and I'm not sure how, but it should come out of, discussion should come out of this committee. And
Special assessment. That's what it is. You said special assessment.
yeah, where they
Put the water, that's what you
put
call
the
it.
water and, yeah. We just need to kind of think, I mean, we just gotta do things better for our people. And so we're just having that discussion. And I know it's hard for old people like me to change, but change is good. And it's hard for, and even young people don't like change. But change is good, especially when you're looking out for your people. And that's where we all should be right now. On a one-on-one, that looking out for our people. Because after this session leaves, Black lives might not really matter anymore. So we have to do what we have to do right now for our people. Stay focused.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
You said drug testing in Michigan, they don't, the state
They
don't drugs
they just passed a law. They just passed the whatever,
in Michigan?
act
Mm-hmm.
that they don't check. It is legal to smoke marijuana. They don't test you for drinking. That's legal to drink and it's legal to smoke marijuana
So you go
in the state of Michigan. And yet and still, we can't get our staff to be lenient on some of these things. Now, the HR attorney is recommending we not even give second chance. And I'm having a problem with it. And I would like for you to put it on your agenda so we can discuss it.
Discuss. Thank you, Commissioner. I got it down. Thank you. All right, everybody have, oh, yes.
So, last meeting, I asked about us applying for the T-Mobile Small Town Grant. And I forwarded the information over to city clerk to give to the city manager. I know that he got a chance to check it out.
Remember what you said. Send it to me.
I think the deadline is around the corner.
Okay.
When's the deadline? And what is it again?
Small Town Grant, city grant, or something like that. T-Mobile.
T-Mobile.
Oh, T-Mobile.
Oh,
You know,
And yeah, Finley got something going on too, but that's what they call, I think,
It was back, yeah.
All right. Anything else? Hey, everybody have a happy holiday and, thank you. Be safe out there.
Jack Campbell sent this to y'all. He said, have a Merry
Happy New Year. The meeting adjourned.
Harry, whatever it is.
He got his truck out there?
He was out there playing.
That was the
loud
music.
back there.